Good day, one and all. Rezzonator back with you and with another tutorial. So this one is it's not anything groundbreaking. I'm just going to make a white noise uplifted, downlifted kind of thing, which yes, you could get. I mean, there's millions of these out there as samples, but I like the fact that you can make your own, which means you can customize it to exactly how you want it, the exact length you want it, and so on. You can make it pump in time with your track and all sorts. So let's start off with the bit that's going to do the pumping, because we're going to need to do some side chaining for this. So we're going to start off with I've got a completely blank project here, and we're going to go with a MIDI track, and I'm going to just stick the 909 kit on here. Doesn't matter what you use. But I find a kick works quite nicely for the side chaining thing. So we're going to turn this track off because we don't want to hear this. I'm going to select the kick drum, which you don't need to do, but I have done anyway, so whatever. And we're going to create a MIDI clip. And we're going to put quarter notes, so just on the beat, the kick drum that's going to do the pumping for us. And we'll make this, we'll make it an 8-bar riser. So I'm going to duplicate this for 8 bars. Actually, no, we need 16 bars, because I'm going to make it go up for 8 bars and then kind of do a downlifter thing after that. So it doesn't necessarily need to be that long. But what generally you would do is, if you've got something that's a side chain, you would fill the whole track up with that. And then you can sort of close it down and forget about it, because it's just doing its thing up there. So that's that first bit sorted out. We're going to insert a new MIDI track, and what we're going to do on here is put in instruments. Let's just get the bit at the bottom open, and we're going to start with an instrument rack, and we're going to drop in there. I'm going to use Analogue for this, because most people have Analogue if you've got Ableton Live. You can use any synth that generates a white noise. I'm just going to click on here so we can open up the macros, because we're going to use those for a bit of mapping. We're going to turn off oscillator 2. We're going to use oscillator 1 just as a white noise, which if I now play this from my MIDI controller, we should hopefully be able to hear it. Okay, so I'm just playing that just from MIDI controller, just so you can hear that. So that's basic white noise. We've not done anything special with that. So next thing we're going to do is, on the filter, we're going to map the frequency and the resonance both to macro number 1. Okay, so now we've got control. As we do this, the resonance and the frequency are going to... So straight away we've got that nice sweepy up sound. So you want it with the resonance because it gives it that nice sweepiness. Okay, we're going to use no envelope on this. I'm going to reset that to 0. Now, when we first play, we've got quite a fast attack, so I'm going to put a little bit of attack on the amp envelope, just so we've not got a massive... We want a little bit of a build-up, like that. And for the downlifter bit, there's 2 ways of doing it. You can do it with the release of the thing, or you can do it with a MIDI note. I'm going to do it, first of all, with the release. So I'm going to whack the release up as far as it will go, to 15 seconds. And I wish I'd not just pressed the key now, because that's going to go on forever. Okay. So, to do our upliftery thing, so we're going to create an 8-bar MIDI clip. And we're going to put a MIDI note in here, and we're going to drag that out. In fact, if you just click legato, it will fill up the whole 8 bars like that. So, as I play that now... Hang on, we've got a lovely arpeggiator playing in the background there. Let's try that again. Where's that coming from? Hang on, let me sort out why I've got an arpeggiator playing in the background. Okay, sort that out. So, if we just play that now, we've just got a noise like this, okay, for 8 bars. Sounds awesome, yeah. So, all the magic happens with the automation. So, to go into the automation view, press A on your keyboard, or just click on view and go to automation. And what we're needing to automate is the instrument rack and macro 1. So you don't generally want to start with it all the way at the bottom, I find, because you want to certainly sort of hear it coming in to start with, because if you go all the way at the bottom, you're not going to hear anything. And I find you lose a bit of the nice squeal of the resonance if you go too high. So it's a little bit of trial and error just to get it to sweep up nicely. But you can hear that's now sweeping up. Okay, up to about there. I apologise if that was really loud. What we're then going to do is, because we've got that massive release on the thing, so as our downlifter bit, so when everything you build up and you get a big crash and then it kind of does the downlifter. I mean, a downlifter to me makes no sense whatsoever. How can you downlift something? But anyway, that's what it's called. So what we do is we'll automate that down right the way to the bottom. So when it's finished... going to do that. Now you don't have to do that. I'll show you an option without doing that. That is ridiculously loud. Let me turn that down. I apologise for everybody's hearing. Okay, so what we want this to do is to sort of pump in time with our track. So that's why we've done our kick up here. We're going to use as a side chain. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to go to audio effects. We are going to go dynamics, and we're going to stick the compressor in. Now I prefer to use it in this view. We're going to open up this little thing here. We're going to click on side chain, and then we're going to choose where it's going to take its audio from. So we're going to take it from this. Generally I would rename this as SC for sidechain, so I know what it is, just being organised. And then generally I find quick release down here, I want quite a big ratio because we want this to duck quite a lot. We're going to bring the threshold quite a way down, and let's just have a play with the controls a little bit. So you can hear it's now ducking based on that kick drum. Until it reaches the ear-piercing highs. So let's put a... so I mean, the kind of the traditional thing with that will be on like a snare build-up thing. So let's stick, again, a 909 in, because it's a great kit. I'm going to put this on a new track. And we'll do like the classic cheesy snare drum build-up thing, over 8 bars. So new MIDI clip, and we'll do like quarter notes, and let's copy that across. We'll do that for, that's not gone well, has it? Let's do that again. Why won't it undo? Let's try it again. Right, let's try it again. So quarter notes. I was trying to be clever, copying them across, and it didn't work. Right, do it like that. There we go. So if we do that for 4 bars, yeah, okay, and then we'll go, let's get rid of these, then we'll go 8th notes for 2 bars. Zip. Duplicate them. And then we'll go 16ths. And shall we go 30 seconds on the last one? Why not? And then I can do what I like to do as well with these another little bonus tip for free for you is why am I trying to do it so small? Just zoom in. I like to filter these out as well at the end, which sounds pretty cool. So we get all the drama, and then when everything kicks back in, it sounds awesome. So this is it, just with like a snare drum build up. Then bang, everything comes back in. So that's the basics of how to do it. It's not that difficult. One little tip I like to use is to stick an auto filter on here, which is in audio effects, obviously, and it's not in dynamics, is it? It's in EQ and filters, obviously. And then put a high pass on here, and then when it gets to, let's map the automation of this, when it gets to this bit, hang on, I'm looking at the wrong thing. Automation, what's cracking off there? Hang on. Okay, yeah, get some random MIDI messages for some reason coming in there. So, yeah, we're going to show the automation of the frequency of this. And then on these last two beats of that bar 8, we're just going to filter that snare drum out. So you get this effect. That kind of thing. And that is still ridiculously loud. So actually that's a little bit fast. I would do it more. Okay, I'm going to put that in a new lane for some reason. It keeps jumping around a little bit. Probably from that whole bar actually, something like this. And we'll put a bit of reverb on it. So I use that loads in my build-ups, and it sounds really cool because it just like filters it out, and then everything just kind of comes back in, and it sounds really awesome when it comes back in. So let's listen to the whole thing. I might put a little bit of reverb on. In fact, quite a lot of reverb. I'm going to send a fair bit of reverb over, and probably a bit of delay just on that end bit of the uplifter. So here we go. Okay, then you get that nice fade out. So what you might need to find is the sweet spot on the release just to get it to pump exactly in time. And obviously if you want it to pump even more, just take your threshold down. So around there is good, I think. Bang! And the beat comes back in. So there we go. Simple-ish kind of tutorial as to how to make your own uplifter, downlifter thing, which you can then tweak to your taste. I mean, you could always, you know, put like a rising note going in with that as well, if you wanted to. The other thing is, if you don't want to have the massive release on it, because obviously you've got the control of the release over here, if you don't want it to go on quite as long. So let's just take that down. Okay, so it could fade down a little bit more. If you want even more control, you could just put another note in there or extend this note out. Take the release down here and let the note do the work like this. Like that, which works quite nice as well, actually. So I wouldn't put a new note in because we've got that little gap at the beginning. Because of the attack on that. So what we'd want to do is extend that over, make that Control J, just consolidate that as one long note, and then just whack that over there, and then that will then control how long you have your downlifter for. Okay, and obviously the automation that we put in there as well is going to determine how fast that goes down to 0. So you can tweak that then to fit in with your project tempo and everything else that's cracking off. So hopefully that was a use to do to some people. A lot of you probably know a lot of you probably know how to do that already, but I thought I would just share that little nugget of wisdom. And hopefully, yeah, whatever, you liked it. So give us a thumbs up if you did. If you didn't, don't. Just don't. Fair enough. If you want to subscribe, please do so. Hit the bell for the notifications. If you're feeling generous, there is a thing across the bottom of the screen. I don't know why I'm waving there because you won't see it. Where you can support me on Patreon, and there is some free stuff available with that. So go check that out. All the details are on Patreon. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.